Oh man, your audience may love your message. They may comment on your post, they may DM you and say, "This was so good." And I know how that feels. They may tell you, those who are your ideal audience, like you need to be on more stages. And I know that that feels good. But here's the part I want us to talk about today. Your audience is not those who are going to book you for the next opportunity. So before you pitch another stage, before you apply for another opportunity, and I actually just sent an opportunity to about 8 ladies yesterday, late evening. Um, but before you apply and before you start updating all the assets, I want you to think about who actually needs to know me before the opportunity actually opens up. Like, who needs to know me? That's a real question. Not just who needs to hear your message, but who needs to understand your value before they can refer you, recommend you, invite you, approve you, or put your name in the conversation. I know because it feels like I need to have another opportunity. I need to get to the next thing, and I know it just feels like I need to get to where I'm going. I need to get there, get there. But I'm asking you to take a step back and think about who do I need to be having conversations with and nurturing before I pitch, before the opportunity comes out there. And that's where positioning matters. And this is what we're going to be talking about today. Water is so good. Welcome to Lunch with Lena. Come on in and say hello in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from. I would love to know. Because I do want to stay connected and learn about what you do, what you speak on. So glad that you're here. For those who are new to me, my name is Lena Castle. I am a speaker brand strategist, the founder of the Speaker Brand Code. I'm also the founder of the Professional Speakers Concierge Service. And through that work, I've had the opportunity to see the speaker experience from more than one side. I've supported speakers. I've worked around event organizers, meeting planners, event teams, all the people involved in creating an awesome experience. And I've seen what happens before the stage. I have the opportunity to be able to be in the rooms and hear conversations that not all speakers are invited into, especially the debrief when the speaker is not there. So getting booked is not really about talent. I mean, we're assuming that you're amazing and that, yeah, you can provide value. Absolutely. So before somebody brings your name up into a room, before they recommend you, before they forward your website, before they say, "Oh, I think this might be the best speaker for this opportunity," I want you to understand that what you do, who you serve, what problem you help an audience solve, and why your name belongs in that conversation is so important. Because, today's speaker brand code that we're going to be talking about today is position before promotion. A lot of times we just want to get to the thing, get to the opportunity, get to the promotion, give it to me already. I already deserve it. I know I'm amazing. I do great work. And all of that may be true. But promotion works best when you reinforce a clear position. Marketing, when you put ads out there or you're marketing yourself, it just amplifies your positioning. It doesn't replace it, it just amplifies it. So let's talk about what that looks like in like actual real life. Because a lot of speakers are creating content most likely for their ideal audience. And I do believe that that matters. But the people in the seats, yeah, the people you serve, I do believe that they do matter, absolutely. But when you're trying to grow your speaking business and have more consistent opportunities, you also have to think about people who are connected to the actual opportunity that you are interested in. I hope that was a nugget. And let me know in the chat where you are tuning in from if you're watching the replay. drop replay. I love to see if people have questions, all the things, and that's perfectly fine if you do, because we can't pretend like we just know everything and we're going to be just fine on our own. We have to have relationships and have conversations with people who help to position us to go where we're trying to go, in the direction we're trying to go. Like us trying to do it on our own, like those days are just over. Like there's plenty of room to share what we know and share our knowledge. But the people that I like to stay connected to, especially for my clients, event organizers, meeting planners, conference hosts, committee members. You'd be surprised how connected committee and board members are to an event, and how much influence they actually have, because that's also good to know, is who has influence over the opportunity that you are seeking. And sometimes our sights might be aimed at this particular opportunity right here. But even though your sights are set there, your relationships with certain committee members, they know sometimes what's coming down the pipeline. So it's so good to continue to build relationships and have conversations. Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much for joining. Make sure to drop in the chat where you're tuning in from. Love to know your speaking topic if you are a speaker, because I think that that's always good. And you'd be surprised who actually watches the lives. A lot of meeting planners, event hosts, organizers, and things like that. So you just never know where opportunities come from. So definitely let me know in the chat who you are, who you serve. If you have a website, definitely drop it, your speaker website, whatever that is. But some of the people that I have to stay connected with in order to provide more opportunities for my team and for our clients, we need to know, like, the person who knows who owns the budget, or the person responsible for programming, the referral partners, sponsors, and stakeholders. So the person who hears, hey, I need a speaker for this particular topic. You know, you want someone to say, I know someone who could fit or align to that opportunity. But you got to be top of mind. And we talked about this recently, about being top of mind, staying connected and staying engaged. So today, I just want us to only think about visibility as, I don't want us to think about this in the way that we've been thinking about it. Like, oh, visibility means look at me, see me. I want us to think about visibility as, am I becoming known by the right people for the right thing? And that's completely different than what a lot of speakers are doing today, to be honest. Drop the words right people in the comments if that distinction makes sense to you, because it's not enough to just be seen. You want to be understood by the people who can move the opportunity that you're looking for forward. So before you pitch, know who, like, this is like the main point number one. Before you pitch, know who you are positioning yourself for. Maybe I can just drop that into the chat. Before you pitch, know who you are positioning yourself for. Boop, boop, boop. Hey, beautiful. Plano, Texas is in the house. Plano, Texas. Hey, Carl. Maryland is in the house. Definitely let us know, like, where you're tuning in from, but also what your speaking topics are, because you'd be surprised. But yeah, before you pitch, know who you are positioning yourself for. Okay, that's a really good point, right? Thank you, beautiful. Now, before you pitch another stage, you do need to know who you are positioning yourself for these opportunities, not in a fake way and not in a performative way. Oh my gosh, please be authentic and be yourself. And not in a way that's like, let me become whatever you want me to be kind of way. And some speakers are doing that, like, oh, there's an opportunity, so I'm going to just, be what they want me to be. Hey, Michael Pope. Yes, Ohio is in the house. I was born in Dayton, Ohio. A lot of people do not know that. They know me as a New York or Texas girl. But I was actually born in Dayton, Ohio. Shout out to my mom for birthing me in the hood. So, but I do want you to think about, when you're pitching, before you're actually pitching, I think this should come before it, but it needs to be strategic. You need to understand who's making the decision about this opportunity. And who influences the decision, because some people may reach out to you and say, oh, I would love for you to come and speak, but they may be a part of the decision-making process, but they are not the only decision maker, a part of the overall opportunity. We have a situation going on right now. Somebody interested in a speaker, the speaker fees. The speaker fee is over $20,000 for somebody to come in and speak. And when we're like ready to like take next steps, they're like, okay, we have to take this document, the contract itself, it has to go to legal and compliance. And then it's not going to be signed by me. The meeting planner is going to be by this particular person. So I do believe that, when people are reaching out, that we do need to know the bigger picture, and it's okay to ask too. Not to say, are you the decision maker? Who else is a part of this process as we're looking at me becoming closely connected to this potential opportunity? Because you don't always want to just say yes. You do need to know the players. You need to know the objective of the event, making sure that if it doesn't fit you, that you can always recommend and refer another speaker. And I'm so thankful for the people that are in my life that will tell me, like, hey, Lena, I'm not a good fit for this, but here's a person that is. That's been really helpful. But who is already in the conversation with the people creating the opportunities, who we do need to know. We need to know or understand. It's not that we need to understand. I do believe we understand our value. Drop your topics in the chat. Okay, speaking topics, the importance of networking and relationships. Oh, so you are right in the right place, gorgeous. And Carl is saying his topic is from assignments to ownership, how entrepreneurship and AI prepare students to build, solve, and lead. I think that's very, very clear. Very, very clear. But who needs to understand your value before your name ever comes up? Like, because sometimes speakers are only focused on the opportunity and the stage, but opportunities are often shaped before the stage is even announced, before they blast it and say, hey, we're putting this event out there, before this call for speakers. You should already be having conversations and connections. And the budget is like, before the budget is even being discussed, the audience and what they need being fully discussed and hashed out. Like, speaker recommendations are being discussed. The short list is being created, and the who do we know conversation is already happening. And the question is, are you positioned to be part of that conversation before you ever pitch? Okay, because that is different from simply applying and hoping. It's like when you apply to a job here on LinkedIn or wherever you may find your work opportunities. It's like, if it's a cold, I'm just going to apply and just hope and pray that they see that my preferred qualifications are there. And like, in a sea of 1,000 people, how do I make sure that I'm standing out? And I will tell you, the difference between the two is relationship. I'm seeing it right now play out. Drop a 1 in the chat if most of your content is currently written for the audience you want to speak to. Drop a 1 in the chat if your current audience, those like that you're speaking to within your content, are for your audience. Drop a 1 in the chat. I'm going to put this. I love that I can do this big chat here so you guys can see my question, because I want you to be able to drop a 1 in the chat. Look at this. Look at Carl, the Mamapreneur podcast. Okay, drop a 1 in the comments if most of your content is currently written for the audience you want to speak to. Drop a 2 in the chat if you have also been thinking about decision makers, planners, and hosts and sponsors or referral partners who actually help you get into the room. Okay, so I love the honesty. Okay, so I see, got a 1 in the chat, got a 1 in the chat. Michael, 1 in the chat. Drop a 2 if you've been thinking about, okay, decision makers, planners, hosts, referral partners, who could actually help me get into the room. Have you guys been thinking about that? Drop a 2 in the chat. Because let me tell you, we're building content for our audience, but not necessarily for those who are booking us. So some of our content needs to shift a little bit. And in the intensive, we're going to talk about that shift, because if we're continually talking to the audience, we do need to talk to our buyers, our clients, those who we're working and partnering with for the event experience, that they know we are the right fit because we're helping an audience go through this process. Or for example, Michael Pope Jr., it's about win the day. If your audience is struggling with understanding how to make incremental changes to win the day, or to be more, I guess, what would be the words? For the audience to be more structured in understanding and motivated to do what they're called to do. Like, we also have to have some content for those who are looking to book us as the speaker. I love that, Carl. I love that, Carl. I love that honesty. Carl said, not as much as I should. I love it. But there's no shame either way, because speakers are taught to speak to the audience, like if it's on a stage or if it's in our content. But if you want to get booked, you also have to think about who's selecting the speaker for that audience. And that is the shift. The main point number 2, your ideal audience is not your only audience. Can I say it for the people in the back? Oh my gosh, I love this. Your ideal audience is not your only audience. And here's what I really want you to hear. Your ideal audience, like, they may be women leaders, entrepreneurs, corporate teams, students, associations. Your audience may be healthcare professionals, educators, sales teams, or faith-based leaders. But the person booking you may not be the person sitting in the audience. The person who is booking you may be an HR leader, a learning and development director, a conference producer, an association, and I'm thinking of all the people we've worked with, an association executive. It could be the event planner, meeting planner, the executive assistant coordinating the leadership retreat, the sponsor looking for someone aligned with their brand. So a board member who wants the event to feel elevated could be someone. The committee chair who needs a speaker, who knows that a speaker can solve a specific problem. So when you create content, when you talk about your work, when you show up online, when you network, when you follow up, the question is not only, will my audience like this? The question is also, would a decision maker understand why I belong in the room, helping the audience to solve that problem? I'm hoping that is resonating. Would a decision maker understand why I belong in the room by looking at my content? Now, main point number 3, how do you move from not being known to being known? And I feel like some people try to make it seem like I need to have more followers. I need to be doing more. Let me tell you, because this part matters when, like, somebody may not know your name specifically. So how do you begin moving from not being known to being known by the right people? And there's a difference. You start by paying attention to who is already connected to the opportunities that you want. Who are already connected to those opportunities? Who is hosting the events that you admire? And you know what I'm learning? There's a lot of opportunities that are not the big stages, that are more even local and provide you more exposure and pay more. And they are not the, let me go speak at South by Southwest or something like that, or for Meta or at Amazon or whatever the case may be. There are a lot of opportunities that are local, stateside, or even internationally that may not have to be like the well-known, everybody knows this event. So, but we do want to know who is producing the conference you want to speak at, who is on the planning committee, who are the sponsors, who are the different leaders, who are the people being tagged to the event post. A lot of times they may be tagging their sponsors. They could be tagging those who are referral partners, who's moderating their panels, and look at past speakers. If you're jumping in now for the very first time, let me know in the chat where you're coming in from or watching the replay from. And yeah, I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. And if you are a speaker, please drop your topic in the chat. We'd love to know what you speak on, and you'd be surprised who watches these replays. So definitely make sure to do that. But I like to say that, it's great to be like, ooh, I should be on that stage. But there is value in, one, you've attended the event yourself in the past, and you kind of had jot down some notes of, oh, I see that they didn't mention this, and that's what I specialize in. I could add value there. Or just doing some of the research. Okay, these are I call it the Dream 25, and we'll cover it in the intensive this week. So if you are like, I need to join the intensive, definitely make sure to join us. It's on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Saturday is my grandfather's birthday, and we'll provide replays. But we're going to talk about the Dream 25, which is what are the top 25 stages you are ideally wanting to be a part of. But by the time you get to your dream stages, you will have already done a lot of the work to make sure, are you positioned for those stages? Are you ready for the opportunities when they come directly to you? Who is creating the community around the topic you want to be known for? Because these are not just names, these are relationship pathways, and there is a pathway where speakers could actually just slow down, because sometimes we want the opportunity before we have built any proximity to the people connected to the opportunity. I gotta drop that. I have to drop that. I have to, because that is such a, because sometimes we want the opportunity before we have built any proximity to the people connected to the opportunity. Oh, that's such a big deal. And I'm not talking about being transactional, folks. I'm talking about being intentional. There is a difference. Transactional is, hey, can you book me? Intentional is, let me understand your work. Let me pay attention to what your audience cares about. Let me support what you're building. Let me become someone you can trust over time. And that's how the relationship actually begins. Okay. Drop relationships in the comments if this is landing. Drop the word relationships if this is landing. And I'm not talking about your honey boo, okay? No, we're not talking about your honey boo. Because sometimes the opportunity does not begin with an application. Sometimes it begins with a relationship. It begins with a conversation. Sometimes it could begin because someone has seen you consistently talk about the same problem, serve the same audience, and show up with clarity. And when that need appears, your name comes to mind. And that's what we want. We want our name to come to mind when a certain topic comes out. Okay, point number 4, what conversation should speakers be having? What conversation should speakers be having? Oh, this is going to be good. Because conversations, it shouldn't start with, hey, please book me. That's not the first conversation. This first conversation could be, I saw the theme for your event this year, and I love how you're approaching this particular conversation around this topic. Let them know that you see what's going on, like what they're doing. Or it could begin, I noticed your audience seems to care deeply about leadership, retention, burnout, confidence, client experience, culture, or it could be growth, whatever. That's a conversation I've been thinking about too. Or it could be, I love to stay connected because the work you're doing aligns with the kind of conversations I care about. That's not a pitch. That is proximity. Pitching and proximity, two different things. Pitching someone, and some people are cold pitching, sending all the emails, and people want to do the numbers game. But honestly, when you have a relationship and you have proximity, pitching is like, I could do that. I could do that. Because proximity is connection, it's relationship building. And over time, when you are clear and you're consistent, those conversations turns into referrals, invitations, recommendations, introductions, and opportunities. And I'm working with a meeting planner right now that I'm so excited about her. I've never met her a day in my life, but we started a conversation, and she was looking for a particular type of speaker that had a specific type of experience and that could bring a specific type of value, because this was the first time that they were investing in an MC for their event. And I am so ecstatic to be able to say, I know someone who, and they have a budget. That's always great too. I think that sometimes opportunities that are free, you could still maximize the opportunity, but that's a conversation for another day. But you cannot nurture relationships if you are only showing up when you need something. That's why positioning before promotion matters, because your positioning gives people something to remember. It gives them language for you. And it helps them also to refer. It gives them the context, or when they're sending it to someone like, hey, I'm thinking about the speaker. Because sometimes before they even reach back out to you, they may be having conversations behind closed doors, and they're looking at your assets and they're looking at certain things to see, is this a good fit? But your positioning gives them the language. It just reminds me of like, if you've ever worked in corporate America, they have what's called calibrations. And calibrations is, hey, at the end of the year, you write what you did and all of the things and how amazing you are, the value that you added. Your leader takes that information, and when they go into a calibration meeting, they are discussing where you fall within the organization. Either you're doing exceptional, you're meeting the standard, you're just doing enough, or you are not meeting, right? You are not doing well. So, and only a certain number of people can fall within those buckets. And you, the employee, are calibrated against people who are your peers at the same level. And if you don't provide your executive with the right verbiage to go into that calibration meeting to fight for you, when somebody else is fighting for their employee and say, yeah, but Amanda did this, this, and this, and this. But when your executive is equipped with how to speak on your behalf, and they're like, yeah, but Brad was able to do this and help us to meet our goals, and was able to execute this that allowed us to do X, Y, and Z for our business priorities and help move the needle forward, which falls up under our CEO's priorities and mission for this year. Like, there's a difference, right? So when you are positioning yourself here on social media, within your website, your media kits, every word has to matter. If it doesn't matter, even if it's a word, take it out. It needs to be able to equip the person that is helping to make the decision. Because sometimes you may drop into somebody that like, they're like, I've seen this person, I've never met them, but maybe we'll have a conversation over here. And everything about your brand should be able to make it an easy conversation that they can have with the decision maker before they actually reach out to you. Referrals. Okay. Mamapreneur said it's referrals for me. Relationships. Absolutely. Absolutely. Main point number 5, give them language for you. Like, I just can't stress this enough. Everything that we are posting, everything that we're doing, you want to make it easy for the right people to describe you. So if a meeting planner, event organizer, referral partner had to describe you to someone else, what would they say? Would it be like, oh, she's inspiring? That's nice, but that's not enough. What would they say? Oh, he has a powerful story. Again, beautiful, but powerful story about what? What would they say? Oh, she works with executive women with confidence and something like that. Wouldn't it be better if they would say, she helps women leaders stop overperforming in silence and start advocating for their value? Now we're getting clearer. What if they said, oh, he helps sales teams rebuild trust in high-pressure client conversations? That's getting clearer. What if they said, she helps organizations design better speaker experiences before the event starts? That's me. The more specific the language, the easier it is for someone to carry your name into the right conversation. And that is what positioning does. It doesn't make you smaller, and it doesn't make you easier to remember, refer, or recommend. So put it in the comments. What do you want to be known for? At the end of the day, and my grandfather used to say this to me all the time, what do you want to be known for? I'm going to drop that in here. What do you want to be known for? You don't have to have the perfect answer. Just try it. Drop a few words in the comments. Do you want to be known for leadership, confidence, burnout, sales, team culture, storytelling, client experience, visibility, faith, women in leadership, operations, communication, whatever it is, start practicing the language, because if you cannot say it clearly, it's going to be harder for someone else to say it for you. Okay, so this is why today's brand code, the speaker brand code for today, brand code number 2, number 1 was last week, which was clarity before visibility. Sometimes people are getting so visible, but they don't have clarity, and it just amplifies how unclear they are. Today, we're talking about speaker brand code number 2, which is position before promotion. Before you get promoted, you need to ask, what positioning am I reinforcing? Before you pitch, you should ask, who needs to understand this? Before you post, ask, would this help the right decision maker understand where I could align for their next opportunity or event experience? Before you apply, ask, is this opportunity aligned with the positioning I am building? Because we definitely, as speakers, be wasting some time. Can I get an amen? Sometimes we'll be wasting time. We will go to an event, do all the things, capture all the content, and the needle has not moved towards the goals of what we want to be known for, and to make sure that that's all we're saying yes to. Who is already connected to the rooms, audiences, and conversations I want to be a part of? Who is already connected to those rooms? And sometimes you just got to do that research. A lot of us don't know who's connected to the opportunities we want to be a part of. And that's okay, because we're learning it right now in this very moment. That's what we're learning right now. Okay. Because promotion without positioning can keep you busy and distracted, to be honest. But positioning gives your promotion direction. And that's the difference. That's why I created the Booked, Paid, and Positioned 3-day speaker intensive. This is not just about wanting more speaking opportunities. Those will come with positioning. Okay. So I created this because I'm like, okay, what do speakers absolutely need? What do they need? And I know that they need to strengthen the business behind their speaking brand so that the right opportunities make more sense. So inside of the 3-day intensive, we're going to look at, what do you want to be known for? Who do you serve? What does the right buyer need to understand? And what are your assets currently communicating? Because they're communicating something. It's communicating something. So what needs to be strengthened behind the scenes? And not everybody needs to know what you got going on and what needs to be strengthened. When you come to the 3-day speaker experience, the intensive, I need to make sure that you guys know, because it is intense. I used to try to teach this all in one day. And then within 6 months, because I taught it 6 months ago, there's so much more I've learned and gained. And I've done a lot of different things. People who are actually connected to me right now know there's a lot going on in my world. And it's crazy. However, this 3-day intensive, that's you getting access to talk to me and have conversations with me about your brand as a speaker. And I won't say that I'm connected. I'll just say that I am connected. I am so thankful. And as my shirt says, lucky to have the relationships that I've nurtured and built for years. Okay, years. And I am a part of the conversations when they are deciding about which speaker they should choose. I'm in those conversations, and I see why the other speaker is not chosen. I see it. So we're going to cover, what does the buyer need to understand? What are your assets currently communicating? What needs to be strengthened behind the scenes? How do you prepare for your speaker business for the opportunities that you say you want? Because the thing is, like, opportunities may come here and there, but you still need to have a strategy. And I was listening to Ashley Kirkwood the other day, another amazing speaker, and she was talking about, some people think that systems and strategy are interchangeable, and you're thinking like CRM system, when all in actuality, what we're talking about when we say a system, it's like it is a set of steps that are to be followed. And within those steps, there's rules, there's conditions, There's, if they say yes, that I should be a speaker, then that. It should be, if they are interested in me, this is what happens before that. But when I'm confirmed and they are ready to pay, this is what happens. And when I tell you some of the most brightest, amazing speakers, the back end is trash. I'm gonna be honest, it's trash. It is. We just got to get better at our systems and how we are positioning ourselves. And sometimes we have to just try and retry things. Sometimes somebody may give you a system and say, okay, just do it this way. But for how you work, for how the clients who ask you to come in for an opportunity, it may be slightly different. Oh, I'm getting over time. Let's see. Okay, so I want to tell you the Booked Paid in Position 3-day intensive. It starts this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Thursday at 7, Friday at 7, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Happy birthday to my grandpa. So on day one, we will begin with brand positioning and market clarity. I'm so super excited about that. I'm just so super excited about that. Because we want to clarify who you serve and what decision makers you need to understand how your speaker brand should support the opportunities you actually want. So if today's conversation is making you think, I need to be more intentional about who knows me and what they understand about me. Because your brand might be saying something else, but sometimes when you get on a one-on-one call or whatever, other things come out and you get to find out names of kids and anniversaries and life about other people and those who you need to stay connected with and have a relationship with. I want you inside the Booked Paid and Positioned intensive. So I'm going to drop the link. When you register, you'll receive a speaker brand audit. You'll click on that and you're going to begin looking at what is clear, what is missing, what needs to be strengthened before we even start. So general admission is available and there's VIP seats if you want hot seats to support you inside about your specific assets. You can click the link and join us. The event link is in the description for this conversation because the goal is not to pitch more stages. The goal is to become known, understood, and trusted by the people, the right people, before the opportunity ever opens up. So let's recap. Before you pitch another stage, you need to answer this. Who needs to know what I want to be known for? Not just the audience, the decision makers, the event organizers, all the people, right? So you then have to think about certain questions like, where are those conversations happening about the things that you care about? What do they need to understand about you? How do you begin connecting right now, and how you can nurture those relationships before you actually need the opportunity? Because there are some speakers, Michael Pope is one of them, who is speaking full-time right now. That is work, okay? So that is positioning before promotion, which is my speaker code number 2. And if you need to know, like, what is the speaker code? The speaker code is, this is the standard at which speakers should show up. This is the standard. And so we have 7 in total. Last week we covered clarity before visibility. Today is the position before promotion. And then next week we're going to get into, well, not next week, it's going to be tomorrow. I'm doing this today, tomorrow, and Thursday. Your speaker assets are already talking about you. So tomorrow we're going to talk about what your website, your bio, your reel, and LinkedIn and speaker materials are already saying before the buyer ever even comes and speaks to you or DMs you. And then this Thursday, the Booked Paid in Position begins. And I'm really so super excited. My goal is I really want to help the speaker. And I have the season to be able to do that, the time and the capacity before I go on vacation. And then when I get back from vacation, I have a speaking opportunity in Nashville, Tennessee, and then I'll be out there for a week. And then before you know it, we're almost wrapping up September. And then I have an event as an MC for the Brushes and Bonds event, and they're talking about menopause, and that's going to be in Dallas. So a lot happening. So before you know it, we're going to look up and it's like the end of October. And right now they're looking for speakers for Q2. Okay. They're looking for speakers for Q1, but those who are, the big hitters, they're looking for speakers right now for Q2 and Q3. So getting positioned now and understanding what your assets need to be doing now is super, super critical. So if you need to get in the room, make sure you get the link. If you need to DM me and be like, Lena, I need to be there, let me know. So excited that you had some lunch with me. I'm going to see if I can chow down a little bit before jumping into it for the day. So I thank you guys for joining. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. I'll see you tomorrow at 12 o'clock, and we're going to be talking about your speaker assets are already talking about you. So what are they saying? I'm so excited. Take care, guys.